What's up, guys? It's your boy Josh. Showtime. This is Showtime Fight Forum. We talk all things fight. This is your boy. All right. Now, look, we have to talk about UFC 300. Now, I know I haven't done as much MMA content as I normally do. One, I did record my breakdown for and my predictions for the fight. It was recorded in mute, and I was so pissed. I didn't know until like days later. It was too late, and nothing I could do about it. So it is what it is. I'm not even gonna lie to you guys and make it seem like I was perfect. I wasn't. I was wrong about a lot. Now, make sure you guys like, subscribe, and comment. I'm putting on episodes every week. Give a brother a follow too. That's all I ask. Give me a follow too. Now, you can share it to your other peoples too. Hey, if you keep making this joint grow, I can actually hype y'all up. I might be able to get y'all some tickets. I might be able to get y'all some, I might maybe hook y'all up to meet a fighter or two, because I know of a couple of them. Now, this is a whole other conversation for another day, but I'm just trying to help this channel grow and my show. Now, let's talk about 300, y'all. 300 Sparta. All right. This was one of the best cards of all time. All right. Now, I've had a few days to settle in now, but this card was ridiculous. Do you know if a MMA card was good when you're up till 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning, just like looking at videos, Twitter, and just like trying to still be a part of the action? And that is exactly what 300 was. I mean, there's no way you could watch that and not be a fan of MMA. Like, if you didn't like 300, you just don't like MMA, and that's fine. But if you're a fan of mixed martial arts at its highest and at its purest, at its best, it was amazing. Amazing. I had a time of my life, y'all. I was actually more upset because I went to a homie's place and watched it. I kind of wish I went to a bar to watch it, just because this just seemed like something you need to be around like 100+ people just to see, just to feel the reaction of everybody, not just like 5 or 6. So, it was still a good time, but yeah, that's just the one thing about it. Now, I'm not gonna talk about every single fight, because you can talk about every fight. This card was absolutely loaded. When you have Deiveson Figueiredo versus Cody Garbrandt as the first freaking fight of a card, you know that card is fuego. People were upset about the main event. I was upset about the main event. It was forced. It was rushed. It really shouldn't have happened that day. It is what it is. But it delivered. Everything delivered. Now, we have to talk about each fight. I ain't gonna dive in deep on each of them. I'm gonna dive in deep on the main card, but we're gonna talk about each and every fight, because that is how good this card was. So this is gonna go over. It is what it is. I hope you still support it. Now, first fight, Cody Garbrandt versus Deiveson Figueiredo. Sorry. Now, this fight actually started off extremely well for Cody. That was the best version of Cody I've seen in years. He looked confident. His striking was quick. It was crisp. His defense was solid. He was actually fighting really smart. He wasn't just trying to go in for a slugfest. Like, legit, that Cody Garbrandt was a very good Cody Garbrandt. Now, I have to give Figueiredo credit for what he did. He adjusted so well in the second period by wrestling Cody. And he did something that's not easy to do. Let's be 100. Have we seen Cody out-grapple like that before? No. People who take him down, he gets right back up. And no, not this Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. Held him down, was able to land some decent ground and pound, but he was able to get the submission. Like Cody did what he normally does, use his explosion and try to get up. It didn't work because Figueiredo was literally game planning for a position. That's the thing. He was able to get out and get up when he was fighting TJ Dillashaw, because TJ's not really a jiu-jitsu guy. Like, he can choke you out for sure. I'm not saying he can't, but he is not going to necessarily go for position first. He's going to go for submission first. Figueiredo went for position first at all bases. So when he gave up his back, he went straight in on top, got the double hooks, got the submission, called it a day. Great fight. Now, Jim Miller versus Bobby Green. That fight really could have been fight of the night if it wasn't for the other two fights. This fight was crazy. Bobby was getting tagged up a little bit in the first period, but after that, he just started swarming my guy. Like, Jim was getting hit with some really good shots. He's so strong for not giving up and continuously staying up. I mean, for continuously fighting. Possibly should have been ended in the third period. But it was still a good fight. Bobby Green, great win. I don't really think it does too much for your stock, but yet and still, you put on a hell of a show. And I hope they hooked you up. Jessica Andrade versus Marina Rodriguez. It was a very, 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 very competitive fight. More competitive than I thought. I thought the right person did win, but I wouldn't have been too angry if they say Rodriguez won. But at the same time, like Rodriguez, you got to step your grappling up. You can't let a person that's also like 6 inches shorter than you land big shots on you. I will say at the same time, coming back in that third period after honestly seeming gassed, tired, and getting rocked and pieced up in the second period, something that warriors do. You should be commended on that. So that was a good fight. Now, the main event for the early prelim card, which was Jalen Turner versus Renato. Jalen, you deserve that loss. You deserve every bit of that loss. You're gonna eat yourself up, and you should be eating yourself up. You're not Mark Hunt. Why are we doing this knockoff? And here's the thing. I get walk-off KOs if they're actually knocked out. If they're stiff, like Jose Aldo stiff. I get it. But not off a flash knockout. What are we doing here? Like, I understand you want to have that cool moments 300. I get the emotions. But at the same time, you gotta win. That's the most important thing. F looking cool. Win. You know what also looks cool? Doing what Alex Pereira did. Following up and beating the crap out of him. Like, Renato was done. Once he got up, he was still on wobbly legs. If you followed up, you would have got that knockout. But you didn't, and Renato recovered, and he did a fantastic job of switching the game plan, going into wrestling, knowing that's Jalen's weakness, and choking him out. I said choking him out, I'm sorry. And beating him up, piecing him up, and hurting him. Jalen, you got to work on your wrestling, brother. Like, that's the only thing. Your cardio and your wrestling are your two biggest weaknesses. We all know it. If you ever want to be champion, you gotta fix those two things. You have so many advantages at 155, but it doesn't matter if you're gonna gas out and then you're gonna honestly have bad grappling. Simple and plain. So yeah, that's my thoughts on that. Diego Lopez, why'd you have to beat my man Sadiq like that, man? I was hoping Sadiq was gonna win because he's a fellow PG County guy like me, but yet and still, all this performance, Diego, we gotta put you up the ladder now. Gotta give you a top 10 opponent. That was, I mean, dog performance, brother. You hurt the man with an uppercut twice and had him a wobbly leg. Sadiq, clearly his equilibrium wasn't there, hence why he got caught with another one. And yeah, just a great shot. Now, the next fight we gotta talk about real quick. Holly Holm versus Kayla Harrison. Now, if I was to do predictions on this fight, I would have picked, honestly, I probably would have picked Holly. Just off of Kayla's last performance, based off of how I know Holly likes to fight, I would have put the advantage more so on Holly. I was completely wrong because I didn't realize Holly Holm would have had the dumbest game plan I've ever seen since maybe the Patriots decided to run the, not the Patriots, the Seahawks decided to run the ball when they had Marshawn Lynch. I mean, not run the ball, throw the ball. I botched that up completely, but you get my reference. Like, I've never seen a worse call, plan, or idea ever. Let's go upper body and let's grapple with a two-time Olympic champion. Now, mind you, you didn't even do that versus Ronda. And she's 10 times better than Ronda. And not to mention, she's much bigger, much stronger than Ronda. And that matters when it comes to upper body, when it comes to throws, when it comes to judo. Strength does matter. You're talking about a bigger girl. She's bigger than you. She's stronger than you. She's way more technical than you. Yes, people can say, oh, yeah, she reversed her. Yeah, you can get lucky one time, brother. It ain't happening again. So the fact that she continuously did that instantly changed my ideas. Like, oh, yeah, she's getting beat easily. You're not about to out-grapple a grappling champion. Sorry. I don't care how good you think you are. So, you know, at the end of the day, Kayla did what she needed to do. She made an impact. She made a statement. And realistically, she has so many advantages versus Jessica Pena or Raquel. Like, simple and plain, she should hurt those girls pretty good. And if she does, which what we expect, Amanda, bring your ass back. We need you back. We need that fight. Matter of fact, I kind of want Amanda to have a tune-up fight before that fight. But it don't matter. We need that fight. ASAP, buddy. ASAP. That's the only fight I care about at 135. Only fight I care about. After that, you can retire the division. I don't care about anybody else. I just want that fight. Okay? Maybe even put Cyborg back in it. But I don't really even care about that too much. Put them two in the ring. Now, the co-main event, not the co-main event, I'm sorry. The main event for the prelims, I'm kind of skipping over Aljo. Let me just talk about Aljo and Calvin Kattar. Good win by Aljo, very boring. That's all I can give you. Now, Jiri, Alexander Rakic. That was going to be fight of the night if it was not for Justin Gaethje and Max Holloway. That was definitely going to be fight of the night. That fight was crazy. Jiri does what Jiri does. He gets hurt, he gets punched, he literally does not keep his hands up, and he gets picked apart. But yet and still, he has the equalizer. And it's you can't even say it's his hands. He can hurt you with anything. He's just an unorthodox guy you can't prepare for. He has power in both hands. He has power in his legs. He got elbows. He has knees. Too many things in his arsenal. Got to avoid him for 15 minutes. It's not an easy thing to do. The man could not walk, but this man was still walking you down. That don't make sense. That don't make sense. But that is what this man does. And he got a beautiful TKO. Like, absolutely beautiful. And I mean, Jiri, what else do we need from this guy? Now, I will say, I need Jiri to fight Khalil Roundtree. I need that fight. I need that fight today. That fight happens, whoever wins needs to fight Alex Bahia. That's how I see as far as the future of the 205 division. Now, let's talk main card. All right, I'm already 10 minutes in. I told you this was going to go long. I'm sorry, but this fight card was crazy. First fight of the card. Bo Nickal versus Cody Brenage. I thought that was a great test for Bo. Did he look great? No. Did he look bad? No. He looked cool. He was okay. At the end of the day, man, we got to remember this guy's still young, he's still green. This guy's still winning fights. This guy was a tough guy, but the guy really didn't have much of he didn't really have many good moments outside of throwing Bo Nickal off of him. That was his best moment. Outside of that, it was all Bo. So you still got to give the man credit. I think Bo's going to continue to improve. And he got mat time, which is the most important thing in this fight. He gets in there for 2 rounds. I think that more mat time he gets, the better he will get. We don't know about, we still have questions, plenty of questions. He doesn't need to fight the elite right now. I think this fight kind of showed that he still has maybe 2 or 3 fights before he's really ready for the elite competition at that middleweight division. But yet and still, man, there's still a lot to like about him. So I'm excited to see him continue to grow. Now, the next fight that kind of hurt my heart, Charles Oliveira versus Arman Tsarukyan. 1, good fight. 2, hats off to Arman for getting out of that guillotine. That guillotine was tight. That guillotine should have, and honestly would have, finished 98% of that roster in the UFC. Most people are going to sleep or they're tapping out. The fact that he withstood that, I knew it was going to be a tough fight for Charles. And I do think that kind of played a role in Charles slowing down a little bit in that fight. We all know Charles likes to go for the finish. That's how he fights, and he exerts himself a lot to get these finishes. I do think him going for that choke kind of wore his arms out a little bit. And it made him a little slower, a little sluggish. And I thought he kind of struggled a little bit trying to recover from that. No excuse, though. That's not his fault. That's not Arman's fault. Arman took advantage of it. I thought the decision was right. Arman won. I thought he won round 2 and 3. I thought 3 was close. But yet and still, I felt like it was more so Charles didn't do enough to win that 3rd round. And we had to go off basically, not damage. It was more so control. And he got control for most of that round. I think Charles he's still an elite fighter. I think his championship run is over. But yet and still, you never know because he's so dangerous. He can literally sub or knock out anybody in that division. So you can never say never. That's just my personal opinion right now. I still think he can put on really good fights, still beat top competition. But yet and still, man, this was a very good fight for Arman. He weathered the storm. He was able to strike when he needed to, wrestle when he needed to, grapple when he needed to, and he was smart in his grappling to not leave himself open to submissions. The 2 times he kind of was close to getting submitted. One was 5 seconds left, he didn't care. The other one, he got kicked in the face, which was a slide-off shot to the chest. But yet and still, I think that he deserved a title shot next. You beat Charles Oliveira, get a title shot. I personally don't think Charles is too far from a title shot himself. I think that he gets another top 5 opponent. He looks really good. He gets another finish. He should get a title shot as well. And the only reason why I'm saying that is this fight was just so competitive. It was so close. And in a 5-round fight, who's to say Charles don't get this victory? He very well could have gotten a submission in the 4th or 5th round. It's not like he was getting pieced up or getting beat up in this entire fight. He really didn't. He just got cut with elbows, which is what they're supposed to do. So, good fight. Now, let's talk about the fight of the night. Max Holloway versus Justin Gaethje. Let me first say that this prediction I would have gotten wrong. I would have picked Justin Gaethje. I don't think he would have necessarily knocked him out. I thought it would have been by decision. I thought he would have just honestly hurt him enough in enough rounds to win, but it didn't happen. One, Max beat him cleanly throughout 5 rounds. Two, he was outboxing the crap out of him. Speed difference was just too great for Justin, and you just saw the technical differences between the two. I do think Justin was hurting him with the leg kicks, but Max is a warrior. He don't care. He just walks through those. And yet and still, man, if you cannot weather a storm from Max, and then you're going to have a long night. And him breaking his nose in the first round was just a recipe for disaster for Justin. So you falling into that kick every single time he did the spinning kick literally was not a recipe for success. Yeah, so all that aside, I think the BMF belt, I think it's dumb, but it is what it is. I don't really care about it. I care about the fights that they make with it, which is really fun, always fun, which is what matters. But yet and still, we have to pay credit to Max freaking Holloway. For a guy who doesn't really knock people out, to get 2 knockouts in a row, brother, what are you doing in Hawaii? What are you taking? I ain't talking about like steroids. I'm talking about what food are you taking? All right, what healthy what supplements are you? What are you doing right now to give you the right to be knocking these dudes out senseless like this? I'm feeling it. I am messing with it. Keep it up, Max. I love it. That knockout is something that you literally have to yell and just like, I don't know, like the dog and you just gotta yell and be like, bro, what? I can't believe he just did that. Like, I could not believe he slept Justin Gaethje, especially like that. That was all-time great. All-time great knockout. Is it number 1 for me? No. Nothing's gonna beat the Buckley knockout or the Korean Zombie and Yair Rodriguez knockouts. Just because one was literally done last second as well, and he needed that knockout to win, which makes that story a lot better. And it was also a main event fight too. And then the other one was just a cartoon knockout. That's just something you don't see in real life. So, I mean, both those, and like I said, Max was crazy. Crazy, top 5 for me. But yet and still, man, Max, bravo. Now, I will say, what's next for Max, if I had to guess, or not guess, or if I had my way, it's either fight Ilia Topuria, that's obviously option A, or B, fight Charles Oliveira for BMF belt. I think those are the two fights. I don't think Max should be fighting 155 champion. Hell no. I think that it should be Charles Oliveira. Charles Oliveira versus Max Holloway 2. Let's get the real version of that fight. Because if you remember, the first fight was a weird injury that didn't play out the way we thought. Max probably would have won that fight, but yet and still, we didn't see the fight. We need to see them fight right now. And that fight is going to be crazy. Crazy. Because you know it's going to be fireworks. And at the end of the day, it's not going to last more than 2 rounds because either Max is going to wail on him and tire Charles out, beat the hell out of him, and force him to give up, or Max is going to get submitted or knocked out. It's possible. I know he's never been dropped, this, that, and third, but anything's possible in MMA. So, great fight. I honestly, how many times have y'all watched it? Let me know in the comment section how many times y'all watched that fight. I've already seen it 3 times. So, now, the next fight we got to talk about is the co-main event. Zhang Weili struggled versus Yan Xiaonan. She struggled on the struggle bus. Yes, they had it 4 rounds to 1, but yet and still, you look throughout that entire fight, she struggled a lot, mightily, through that fight. Got dropped a couple times. She got out-grappled at one point. She got tossed on her butt a couple times. Like, I mean, Yan Xiaonan honestly put on a hell of a performance, and I give her my respect because she could have gave up, but she didn't. And even the time where she got wailed on, and honestly, she probably should have gave up, that was crazy. You get back up, you sit there, you're knocked out, you get choked out, really, and you come back, much power to you. That was a great... All these fights were amazing except for the Aljo fight. Every other fight was crazy. But yet and still, that fight probably should have ended in the first. And when she got choked out, that should have been in, but they let her go. It is what it is. I get why they let it go. It's just hilarious to me. Now, I would love for Tatiana to get healthy so we can get her in either this division or 25 somewhere, get some action so someone can challenge Weili right now. If it ain't going to be Rose, it has to be Suarez. I don't really think anybody else is going to beat her personally. She just have too many avenues to win. She can out-wrestle you. She can beat you up. She can submit you. She can knock you out. It's just too many avenues for her to beat people. Now, the main event, ain't too much to really discuss about this. What happened should have happened. All right, you're an all-world kickboxer. You went against a guy who was not all-world kickboxer. You stood up, and he got knocked out. What happened. Alex Pereira has a crazy story. His resume is ridiculous. The names that he has on his resume. And I say, let him fight heavyweight. Let him do it. The guy's humongous. He can weigh 230. Who cares? Let him fight Aspinall. That's another stand-up fighter. I don't understand why they would say no to it. Why? It's not like he's fighting John Jones. So give him Alex Pereira. 205 honestly could work himself out a little bit. So that's my personal opinion. Jamil needs to get back in there, fight somebody else that's up in there. I don't know, maybe fight Rakic since he's just coming off a loss as well. I mean, you also have you have John. Like, you have plenty of fights for him as well. I think it's back to the drawing board. It is what it is. You dare to be great. Coming back from an Achilles tear, probably didn't get the full recovery you needed. Respect, man. At the end of the day, it don't matter if he was fully healthy or not. That left hook was coming. So, I mean, it is what it is, man. Like, he's the way Alex Pereira sets up his left hook is just so beautiful and unpredictable. Like, you got to think, if he only has, I ain't gonna say he has one trick, but if his main recipe for knockouts is one avenue, you got to think he's an expert at it. And you got to think that he sets that hoe up different. So that's why it's landed so many different times. I don't know, just me. So, I mean, you can't keep fight curled up, but yet and still, Alex Pereira is still the most beatable champion of all time because you just got to wrestle him. And you got to be a good wrestler, of course, but yet and still, he's so beatable. But yet and still, you got to get away from the strikes. He keeps fighting these strikers, and these strikers are just not good enough. None of them are. And he's just an all-time great when it comes to it. So, yeah, it is what it is, man. Great cap to the card by ending it with a vicious knockout. And there was just so many great fights, so many things to talk about, so many storylines, so many story points. Like, I need more of that. But then you realize we're going to the Apex next week, and then 301 is just going to be a laughing stock. I mean, that's my area code, so I was hoping it's going to be good, but it's not. I mean, it's just, I don't know. We got a basket of glory right now. So, I mean, shout out to the UFC for putting on an amazing card. This is why we're fans. This is why we tune in. So, thank you for that. Thank you guys for watching. As always, man, make sure you like, subscribe, and comment, share. And, as always, man, make sure y'all stay blessed.